Excellencies, colleagues, and friends, it's my pleasure to welcome you today at our 6th Annual Geneva Engage Awards, our annual conference on social media outreach and engagement. My name is Marco Lotti. I'm project manager at the Geneva Internet Platform and DiploFoundation. And today, since this is an awards ceremony, although it takes place online, I will play the role of the master of ceremony. So it's my pleasure to welcome you all. It's my pleasure also to welcome our introductory and welcome remarks speakers, as well as my colleague, Vladimir Radunovic, who's in the chat and will moderate the chat discussion and make sure that your comments and your questions will be addressed. I will invite the first welcome address speaker, Monsieur Thomas Daillet, Deputy Secretary General at the Chancellery of the Canton and State of Geneva, to address us with a few words. Monsieur Daillet, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, I would like to thank you for your invitation today. It is a real honor for me to participate for the first time to this great and important event. When my esteemed colleagues Béatrice Ferrari and Olivier Couteau asked me if I was ready to share some thoughts with you today, it is with a great pleasure that I responded with a yes. I would like to thank them also for lending me the floor today. We all know how much common understanding and knowledge is important to build strong relationships. It is true between friends, between colleagues. It is true in a couple. It is true between nations, cultures, and peoples. But we also know how difficult it can be. Sometimes it is because of challenging values. Sometimes it is because of the burden of the past. But sometimes it is just about the channel or how to communicate. Our era is digital. Whether we want it or not, it is the era of the web and of social media. This revolution poses a number of challenges, new challenges. Challenges about seriousness, challenges about truth, challenges about manipulation. But as we all know, we can't avoid challenges. We must face them. Therefore, strengthening communication on social media is a must. It is especially a must for an ecosystem such as International Geneva, which exists by and for the whole world in its richness, diversity, complexity. Social media can foster the understanding of what International Geneva engages for: multilateralism and cooperation, negotiation and mediation, human rights and international law. In a more and more interdependent and digital world, social media can foster discussion and partnership. It can foster better listening, better understanding, better responding, better engagement. We may not agree on everything every time, but opening and maintaining channels is what counts, so that the voices of all, including the most vulnerable, are being heard. In promoting a better use of digital communication, Geneva Engage shows that social media are not only a challenge, but also a wonderful opportunity. I would like to thank Diplo again for this wonderful initiative. Long live the Geneva Engage Awards, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much appreciated. Very impactful speech. I would like now also to welcome my colleague, Teresa Orezoa, Director of Partnerships and Project Development at DiploFoundation, to give us the house greetings from DiploFoundation and the Geneva Internet Platform. Please, Teresa, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dyer. Thank you very much, Marco. This is the 6th time we are presenting the Geneva Engage Awards, a prize for efficient engagement, a prize for impactful outreach of Geneva actors. ranging from civil society organizations through countries represented by their missions to big international multilateral actors in diplomacy here. We are now looking into how they are able to communicate within Geneva, but in particular, reach out and thus contribute to the global knowledge of the importance of what is happening in international Geneva and how it impacts the world. Now, Diplo and the Geneva Internet Platform feel that we have a solid methodology behind the assessment, and we will be thrilled to present it with you and some details about our hows and whys very shortly. As you can imagine, the pandemic has shaken things up a little bit to some degree, and to communicate well online has become more important than ever. This is what today's ceremony is going to be about in particular. We would like to thank our long-term partnership and leadership in this project to the Canton of Geneva and the Swiss authorities. And of course, thanks to all those actors that are making Geneva a vivid place for social media and online engagement, not only to those that will be recognized in today's ceremony, but also to all others. Thank you very much. And Marco, over to you.
Thank you, Teresa, and thank you again, Mr. Daye. The core of our work, as Teresa said, behind Geneva Engage Awards is the data analysis that our data team carries out throughout the year and every year for the 6th time this year. Our analysis is backed by a consolidated methodology on how to collect and analyze social media related data. So our data team spends every year a great deal of effort in perfecting and always updating these methodological guidelines to make sure that we can capture effectively and actually the real situation and the engagement and the outreach that Geneva-based actors are doing. Therefore, before we get into the awards part, I would like to give the floor to my colleague Katarina Andjejkovic, researcher at Diplo's Data AI team, to explain us a little bit more about the methodology behind the awards. Katarina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Marco. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, and dear colleagues, my name is Katarina Andjejkovic, and in the next couple of minutes, I will explain the methodology behind Geneva Engage Awards. The parameters we analyzed can be divided into the following categories: multi-platform activity, where we looked into the number of followers and social media posts and the usage of Facebook and Instagram. The following criteria is engaging content, which is reflected in the content that users post on their social media accounts. The third criteria is active engagement, consisting of retweeting and replying, whereas effective engagement relates to the effectiveness of shared content. Last but not least, growth refers to relative growth of Twitter and Facebook followers over the past year. Let's talk about the fun part now, math. The calculation for the Geneva Engage Awards has the challenge of often calculating large ranges of values due to differences in size and activity of the monitored accounts. For instance, number of tweets in a month can range from a value of 90 to the largest value of 140,000. This, of course, represents a challenge in normalization and comparison of data. To solve this issue, we have used the following methodology. The first step was to determine the so-called outliers, which are the extreme values that are either well above or below a bulk of data. For instance, imagine having a class of 30 students where the majority has an average height, but a couple of them are extremely tall, over 2 meters high. These are the outliers in this case. In our case, we have calculated the interquartile range where the bulk of data lays, and outliers in our case live outside this interquartile range. Since our data sets contains extreme outliers, we have chosen to use another feature called clipping or capping, which caps all feature values above or below a specific value. For example, you could clip all temperature values above 40 degrees Celsius to be exactly 40, and we have used this outlier as a capping point in our case. And lastly, we have used another Excel formula to perform rescaling of remaining values to a predetermined scale, and we used 25 and 10-point scale. The 10-point scale is used mainly for the relative growth, the one given in percentages, which has less weight than the absolute change, for which we use 25-point scale. The key person behind the analytics was my colleague Georgi Jančić, who unfortunately could not join us today, but he and the rest of the team will be happy to answer any questions regarding the methodology. And the complete and detailed report will be released after the event. And if you have any questions or comments, or if you would like to find out more about our methodology, please contact us at data@diplomacy.edu. Thank you again for your attention and enjoy the rest of the event. Back to you, Marco.
Thank you, Katarina, for explaining the big work that there is behind the Geneva Engage Awards. It's now time to start with, hopefully for most of you, is the most exciting part of today's event, the awards ceremony. The awards will be given, as Katarina has mentioned, to the three following categories: permanent representations, international organizations, NGOs, and associations. So I would like to start with the first category, that of permanent representations. And I'm going to announce the two runners-up for this category. The permanent mission of France and the permanent mission of the Russian Federation to the United Nations office in Geneva. So big congratulations and a very big round of applauses, virtual ones, to the two missions. I would like now to invite the respective representative of the two institutions to share with us a few remarks. I would give the floor first to Monsieur François Gave, the Deputy Permanent Representative of the Permanent Mission of France. Your Excellency, the floor is yours.
Many thanks. I'm very pleased to be here with you today. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues. At the outset, I would like to thank the Geneva Engage Awards, the Geneva Internet platform, supported by the Canton and the State of Geneva, and the DiploFoundation for awarding us this third prize. I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate the winners, all the winners. At the outset, let me also pay tribute to the very hard work, dedication, and talent of Marie Bourreau, my colleague and our communication counselor at the French mission. 2020 was a very hard year, as you rightly said. The pandemic has hurt us very hardly, and particularly hurt the most vulnerable people throughout the world. It also limited our ability to interact. Against this background, communication has played a key role in connecting us with a larger audience. In the absence of face-to-face meetings and events, social networks, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, have been crucial to share the ongoing and behind-the-scene work that we're doing here in Geneva. At a time when multilateralism is under attack, it's essential to show that the UN and international organizations remain critical for moving forward together. We have therefore launched throughout this year of the 17th anniversary of the UN and the century anniversary of multilateralism, a series of educational videos on the main UN agencies based in Geneva, and where key issues for coming years are being discussed. For example, the fight against pandemics, climate change, human rights, telecommunication, migration issues, internet governance, artificial intelligence. Geneva is at the heart of most of the challenges ahead in tomorrow's world. It really personifies a successful multilateralism in action. The path to success is, from our perspective, to explain those challenges to the widest possible audience. This guarantees a better understanding, wider support, and better cooperation. We've been able to measure the interest of the public with communication on Twitter, which have been widely shared, notably on human rights and health. We're also seeing the flow of our followers growing since our account has gained an average of 100 subscribers per month, and our tweets are seen by more than 100,000 people on average each month. Now, a parting thought, freedom of speech is critical, is the cornerstone of democracy. It's closely connected with freedom of opinion, freedom for religion, absence of discrimination, equal opportunity. It's about informing and engaging citizens. It's about creating a culture of transparency, trust, and accountability. That's why this award means so much to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I would now give the floor to the Deputy Permanent Representative of the Russian Federation, Mr. Alexander Alimov. Your Excellency, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much. It was really a surprise for us, pleasant one, I must admit, and we thank Geneva Internet Platform and DiploFoundation, who put us on the radar and whose praise we have deserved. Let me thank my team, my press attaché sitting to the left of me. You don't see her, Daria Rudakova, and all my colleagues in the permanent mission, whose wisdom helped us to grasp the issues we were writing about. I would like to make two brief points. Going digital as your part of your diplomatic effort is absolutely indispensable, and this trend has been in place for a while. Yes, indeed, the COVID pandemic has augmented this trend, gluing people to their monitors and therefore making those present there online to pay more attention to their presence. Yet this trend will remain equally pertinent when the coronavirus have become part of history. But overall, as an old schooler, I truly believe that digital diplomacy is not a goal in itself and should not and will not replace the real face-to-face diplomacy. And the sooner we go back to our handshakes in rooms, the better. Being a part of overall diplomacy, digital outreach shares many features of overall diplomacy. And on top of the list, I would put them being not a zero-sum game. Your win is not to the detriment of the others. And being prolific, outspoken, witty, crispy, and sort of victorious online should not overshadow or eclipse your overall reasoning, overall goal, and that is cooperation and working together, join hands together for the same purpose. As an indispensable component of diplomacy, digital outreach should also be about filling in gaps, building bridges and not building walls. Now, working in Geneva gives you a lot of plenty of room to shine, including online. We all know our city is a crucial international multilateral diplomacy hub, melting pot of ideas, laboratory for solutions in so many areas of international cooperation. We are extremely grateful to our generous hosts for keeping the efforts to keep Geneva at the core. This effort is shared. My country has been staunch and consistent supporter of international Geneva and will remain such both online and offline. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Thank you very much, and congratulations again to France and the Russian Federation. Now it's the time to announce the winner of the permanent representations category. Congratulations to the permanent delegation of the European Union. We have with us the Ambassador Walter Stevens, and to whom I would like to give the floor. Ambassador, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much. I hope you hear me clearly. Yes. And let me say, of course, that we feel very much honored and proud to receive this year's award. And let me also congratulate our French and Russian colleagues. It's really a fantastic recognition also of the efforts that we have put in our communication work. And I must say that our communication team is actually a very small team, consisting of only 3 people, 3 courageous ladies, I would say, who all work also on other files, so they can only dedicate part of their time to communication. So, and I think it's a challenge also that we share with many delegations here in Geneva, of course. We try to work with the means and resources that we have, and we do our best as good as we can. And we are, of course, now encouraged and inspired by the social media work of other delegations and other missions here in Geneva. We as EU delegations have invested quite a lot on our communication efforts into social media. But of course, this has been receiving an increased push by the pandemic. We wanted to look at the pandemic as an opportunity to further improve our social media work. And I must admit that there were many things that we were already planning to do quite earlier. But with the pandemic, I think things have moved much quicker. For example, we finally went on Instagram and we are now trying to address new audiences. And I must say, it's quite a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. So please follow us to support our efforts. We have also invested in new video editing apps, sound databases, programs for social media visuals, all with the aim to create better and more attractive social media content. We also tried some different formulas. For example, video blogs or vlogs. We have created a series of Meet the EU team to give a more personal face to our delegation and the work that we do. We did also a campaign entitled From Geneva to the World, with videos showing how colleagues work on topics such as health issues, humanitarian issues, disarmament, human rights, but also the impact that this has on the life of people across the world. And currently we're producing a series where we give the microphone to our interns, our stagiaires, who ask questions and who tell us how they perceive how we work and how they perceive our work. So it's not always easy, to communicate from an institutional account. It might be a little bit dry, but we try to find creative ways. And I think that's the key to success. And social media give, of course, that opportunity that we do not need a big budget. It doesn't always have to be, let's say, a professionally done video or photo. I think personal pictures, videos do sometimes even be better. Even on institutional accounts, we need to show indeed that we are not, institutional, that we are not a machinery, that we're also human beings. So let me say that in a certain way, we are what we share. And whether we like it or not, this is part of our professional reality now, even in diplomacy. So today we are very proud, and we will definitely share this on our social media account. So many thanks again, and please keep on following us on the internet. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and congratulations again. It's now time to go to the following category, which is the one of international organizations. So we'd like to announce that the two runners-up for the category of IOs are the International Air Transport Association and the United Nations office in Geneva. So congratulations again, and a big round of virtual applauses for you. I would like to give the floor first to Yata. I believe we have some colleagues, Chris Goter and Marta Alcocer, if I'm not mistaken.
So thank you very much on behalf of the IATA social media and the corporate communications team, indeed the whole of IATA. Thank you for this recognition of our social media work last year. The team, especially, I'd like to call out Adam Zampini and Marta Alcocer, who worked incredibly hard in the midst of an unprecedented and ongoing industry crisis, costing hundreds of thousands of jobs worldwide. And while we continue to push to work for a safe restart of international travel as soon as the health situation permits it, we have found many new audiences engaging with us this year. During the year, we added nearly 300,000 new followers. We now have an audience of around 1 million, and we're focused on partnerships with industry colleagues and governments. And from aviation workers who use the hashtag #WeAreAviation that surpassed around 35 million in reach, to the people with loved ones stranded abroad, we found many new people who understand the unique benefits of aviation or who long to travel once again. So I hope that soon aviation can return to performing the role that is dear to the hearts of so many of us in international Geneva. That's promoting prosperity, increasing global understanding, and bringing peoples of the world together. So thank you again, and congratulations to all the winners today.
Thank you very much. I think we can all hope to start flying soon again. I will give now the floor to Madame Alessandra Vellucci from the United Nations office in Geneva.
Thank you very much. I am here to accept this prize on behalf of the UN office at Geneva. It's very much of a pleasure to receive this award, especially it's not the first time that our social media work has been recognized by the Geneva Internet Platform. So thank you very much again. To say that 2020 was an exceptional year would be obviously an understatement. In a year which has seen the worst public health crisis in a century, followed by the worst economic downturn since World War II, International Geneva and our office were not spared. Being at the heart of this ecosystem of International Geneva, our office too had to downscale and move to the virtual or hybrid mode most of our activities, as you all know. That placed the onus even more than usual on our digital communications, in particular on our social media channels. And I'm pleased to say that our social media team lived up to this challenge, and this award confirms it. In 2020, the central themes on our social media platforms, which combined brings together about 1.2 million followers, were not only addressing the COVID-19 pandemic, sharing practical tips, promoting solidarity, but I would say really the highlight of our work was to combat infodemic of fake news, especially around COVID-19, including through the Global Verified campaign, which was launched by the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, at the onset of the pandemic. Of course, we have also continued our work to inform the world about important events in Geneva that concern so many of our colleagues present today, including the UN 75th anniversary, the Libya talks, the Afghanistan donor conference, the 3 Human Rights Council session, Ethiopia, Syria, Yemen. So the world was in Geneva and the world was informed about the world being in Geneva thanks to our social media platforms. And finally, in order to promote our mandate of multilingualism and to reach out even more of the local audience in Suisse romande, I'm happy to report that last summer we opened for the first time a Twitter account in French, Au New Genève, which has been growing slowly but steadily ever since. So thank you very much to the DiploFoundation for having recognized through this award these efforts made by UN Geneva to live up to this challenge. And let me wish you all a less exceptional, if possible, year 2021. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I would like now to announce the winner for the IO category. United Nations High Commissioner on Refugees, UNHCR. I would like to invite our colleagues from UNHCR. I believe we have with us Gisela Lomax, Yanga Gedini-Williams. You have the floor.
Hi, good afternoon, and thank you to, of course, the DiploFoundation and of course to the Engage Awards for acknowledging all the hard work that's gone into our social media work this year. If I could have imagined where social media and digital engagement could have gone in these past years, I think I would have not been capable of even understanding the limitless potential that's out there. I won't repeat many of the things that several of the other award winners and speakers have duly noted about what has befallen 2020 and how challenging and difficult it has been. I will also note, however, how much potential there is, how much hope there is, and the fact that despite all the constraints, despite the fact that what we had was possibly the most challenging environment to work in that we've ever faced in UNHCR, with the pandemic, with climate change, and of course, with the migration and asylum challenges that continue to mount year on year. We've seen more engagement. We had over 495 million viewers last year, and that shows that people are using these platforms to connect with each other, to learn, to act, and to mobilize. And I think that's one of the key takeaways. I'm really lucky because I'm going to hand over very quickly to Gisela Lomax, who heads up the team. But we have all of the team members, Lori, Mahek, Sylvie, Sophia, Dimple, Ala, and Maddie, who have worked tirelessly this year to get the message of UNHCR's mandate to protect and assist refugees. And of course, more importantly, the stories and the talents and the contributions of displaced and stateless people themselves. Gisela, did you want to add?
Thanks so much, Chinga, and thank you so much. We're truly honoured to win this award again, and I can't tell you what a boost it is to the team after the crazy year that was last year and working around the clock. I'd just like to recognise what great company we're in here, and to emphasise, and even in the days when I worked under Alessandra, in fact, on the UNOG social media and with many of the permanent missions as closely as I do here at UNHCR, that we are, you know, stronger than the sum of our parts. And for me, I hold it so important on social media to be amplifying, engaging and supporting with our UN, our permanent mission, government and NGO partners. And that's the way that we can best achieve success. I think we don't communicate as islands, and social media very much is a community where we are most successful when we work together. So thank you very much.
Thank you. It's now time to announce the winners and the runners-up for our last category, which is that of NGOs and associations. So the two runners-up for the category are the UN Watch and the World Council of Churches. Congratulations and applauses to you as well. I would like to give the floor first to Madame Emmanuelle Casavi from UN Watch. You have the floor.
Thank you very much for this award. I'm really proud to receive it on behalf of UN Watch. It's really an honor for us. In the current digital era, UN Watch has always been very active on social media and has relied extensively on social media to make our voice heard. We fight for human rights and the equal treatment of countries at the UN, and social media has always been key for us to deliver our message internationally and make an impact to a wider audience. This award is a consecration for our work, and I thank my colleagues who are very much involved in working on social media. And I also thank our director, Hillel Neuer. Thank you very much to the DiploFoundation for this award. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and bravo. Now the floor to Marianne Eidersten from the World Council of Churches.
Thank you very much. Dear Excellencies, ladies, gentlemen, colleagues and friends, and a special dear 350 member churches in the World Council of Churches. It's an honor to receive the award. And it's a long journey we have been through since 1948, when we were founded in Amsterdam to work for unity, justice and peace. And since 10 years, we have been in social media. So I'm very grateful for the communication team and their efforts to strengthen the communication, especially in the midst of the global pandemic. I would mention two team members, the two working on social media, Annegret Kapp and Walter Hugo Muniz. And I would also include all the tweeting staff members in the World Council of Churches. We are based in Geneva, New York, in Nairobi, Jerusalem, and in 120 countries around the world through our member churches. Each of them are important, and each of them are receiving the award with me today. We have been working for unity, justice, and peace since 72 years. And we are on the same journey with many of other sister organizations receiving the award today. And we have a close collaboration in International Geneva. So thank you very much to the jury for the award, to the Geneva Internet Platform and the Canton de Genève. So I would extend a digital tulip to you for all the hard work you have been doing to gather all the statistics. It's important for us because it's a motivation for us to continue on our journey to make a difference in the world, to speak up for the most vulnerable in the world, to make their voices heard, to try to make their human dignity on an equal level. And I'm especially grateful that the award is delivered on a Thursday. In the WCC team, we are all dressed in black, Thursdays in black, a campaign we have been running since the 1980s, a world towards no gender violence and no rape. So this is an award we're receiving together, and we will continue on this mission in different ways across the globe. And when it's coming to the pandemic, we are a global organization, and most of the work is done by travels, visits around the world. It was not possible in the midst of the pandemic. So almost all the programmatic work moved into our communications department, and we had to explore new ways to reach out to the world. And online productions was a very important tool for us, and social media. And we are a small compared to other partners presenting their work today, but together we are able to make a difference. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be with you today.
Thank you very much, and thank you for sharing such touching speech with us. I would like now to announce the winner for the NGO category. The winner is the New Humanitarian. I believe we have with us Matt Crook and Whitney Patterson. You have the floor.
Awesome. Hi, hello everyone. So my name is Matt and I'm the marketing manager at the New Humanitarian, and I'm here to accept this award along with my colleague Whitney Patterson, who's our audience engagement editor. So firstly, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to take the stage here, even if only virtually, because myself and Whitney, we usually work behind the scenes. So it's not often that we're seen in public, let alone picking up an award. Although, to be honest, that's a double-edged sword at the moment, being out in public, because it's been a really long time since I've had a haircut, and it's starting to show. But anyway, from all of us at TNH, I just want to say thank you to the Geneva Internet Platform and DiploFoundation for recognizing the work that we've been doing over the past year. At TNH, we've been reporting from the heart of humanitarian crises for 25 years. But the idea of focusing on things like marketing and audience engagement is relatively new for us, even as an independent non-profit newsroom. It's relatively new for us. Sorry, I just lost my place. So we've been putting a lot of work into really, growing our audience, particularly as interest in, quality, reliable reporting on crises has grown rapidly in light of things like COVID-19 pandemic and the Black Lives Matter movement, and the scrutiny the aid sector has really found itself in, something that we've covered extensively under the banner of rethinking humanitarianism. And so we've really seen this interest reflected in our growth and the growth of our audience. And so in terms of what that actually means and what we've been actually doing to make us worthy of an award like this, I'll turn to my colleague Whitney, who's our audience engagement manager, who can give you a few of the highlights of things that we've been working on.
Hi, I would just like to say again, thank you for the award on behalf of our team. Our team is very small and all hands on deck, so we're proud and honored for the recognition, especially within our Geneva community. And congratulations to all the other people in both in our category and the others as well. Together, I think we all sort of deal with such dire and dark issues at times that to be engaging is to walk a fine and difficult line. But it's absolutely critical and making an impact. And at the New Humanitarian, we're committed to informing decision makers and the humanitarian community on the whole in the best way. So with that in mind, it's good to know we're not missing the mark. And we hope this award will spur us on to keep improving and keep engaging people in these important conversations. So sincerest of thank yous from all of us at the New Humanitarian.
Thank you. No, thank you. And to all also the other winners of the other categories. Now the awards ceremony is not over, not just yet. Last year, we have introduced a new award that was given for innovative and effective approach to conduct remote meetings. This new award aimed at encouraging new developments for the effective interplay between online and in situ meetings. Last year, the recipient of the award was the Internet Governance Forum in Geneva. With all the effort and with all the study that we may have done, no one could have predicted how central and crucial the pandemic would have made online meetings and remote participation. We must recognize that many organizations in Geneva have honestly outdone themselves in ensuring a smooth transition from in situ to online meetings, and especially to ensure that online meetings are as effective as in situ ones, which is not easy. One organization, however, has undertook extra steps in this regard and has created an open source based platform for online meetings. Therefore, it's my pleasure to announce that the recipient of the Online Participation Award is the ITU, the International Telecommunications Union. I believe we have with us Alexander Ntoko. Alexander, would you like to share with us a few words, I would say almost tweet style, on the work that you've done on online meetings?
Let me first of all thank all of you for your presence here, even though it is virtual. I need to first thank the Geneva Internet Platform, DiploFoundation, and the Geneva Diplomatic Community for recognizing the work that IT has done in this area. When we were hit by the pandemic, early, I would say the third week of January 2020, last year, we had to use our in-house expertise to build a solution that would enable us to be able to continue with, this bringing countries together and not being able to use the physical infrastructure that we had. How do we transform our methods, working methods, in a manner that would enable us to go forward with the decision making? We noticed that at the end, we actually ended up 2020 with more people who participated in our meetings than when we had access to our physical infrastructure. This was a year, 2020, which of course, there were so many first times for the ITU, which is 155 years, but we had to do many things for the first time. And I'll just give you some of them. ITU continued to deliver its core competencies from the radio spectrum, satellite orbit, international technical standards, telecommunication and ICT development. But a few of those first in the world include the first, for ITU, that is, first virtual ITU World Radio Communication Seminar was in 2020. In March 2020, our standardization sector made history by facilitating the first ever fully virtual ITU statutory meeting, which resulted in decision-making using our customized tool called My Meetings. It also widened the topography of those who participated in the meeting and the scope also. So it is not just moving from physical to digital, but we realized certain things that we could not really predict before we started this whole exercise. We also launched the Global Network Resiliency Platform, REG for COVID, to help regulators globally, policymakers and interested stakeholders to address the load and the stress which were brought about by COVID-19 and how they can continue to do their work. We held 2 virtual consultation meetings. We call them virtual consultation of counselors. The governing body of ITU normally meets once a year, and this body makes the key decisions. This is like the board, in corporate terms, We also had our first virtual WSIS forum, that's the World Summit on the Information Society, which garnered a lot of interest and excitement from all over the world. In partnership with the government of Vietnam, we had the first ITU World Virtual Digital World 2020. Also, the AI for Good, Artificial Intelligence for Good Summit, we have had it all year round. It is always online. So again, what is happening is we are not just trying to reach out to those who used to attend our events, but we are also changing the way we are working, the way that we are interacting with the membership. Because of online security, which is paramount, we also launched the cybersecurity repository to help membership respond to new threats. The more people you have online, the more threats you are going to have. You are aware of some of those types of threats. We took an active part also in the development together with other UN organizations to develop guidelines, best practices for virtual events, remote participation, and also shared this with the UN High-Level Committee on Management and members. None of this work could have been possible without the efforts of ITU staff, a contribution and support from the membership, which brings together 193 countries and more than 900 private sector companies, academia, international and regional organizations, as well as those who just wanted to engage with us, who don't have a formal relationship with the organization. The pandemic has highlighted the significance of digital technologies in people's lives worldwide, but they also highlighted a very deep digital inequalities, which we need to address, because not everybody has access to some of the tools that we are talking about. But it has also shown us that many businesses can function in a slightly different way, and some of them can actually function virtually. Mm-hmm. Receiving this award in recognition of these achievements is a huge inspiration for all of us at ITO, because it enables us to strengthen our mission to bring ITO events and meetings to everyone, everywhere. So I take this opportunity again to thank those who considered that what we have done merits this award, and we take this, I collect this award on behalf of the ITO.
Thank you and bravo. Thank you very much. Thank you. And congratulations once again to all the winners of all categories. The award part of the event is now over. We're running slightly out of time, but we'll ask you to stay with us for another 10-15 minutes, because this is not the end of today's event. We have mentioned it before during also, and we heard it during the speeches of the fellow winners in all categories. 2020 and the pandemic have had a crucial impact on the development of online meetings. If we look back, we can all learn a lot from the past year. We will now exchange a little bit and share insights precisely on this aspect. My colleague Teresa will join us again and will tell us more. Teresa, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Marco. And this was very exciting, and really big congratulations to the winners. Now, the remaining few minutes that we have here in this event, we can make it as interactive as you make it. So I understand that during the ceremony, there has been quite a vivid chat activity, and I know that my colleague Vladimir Radunovic was following what has been happening out there. So maybe Vlada, over to you to share with us briefly.
Thank you, Teresa. Well, there have been a lot of congratulations and participants from all geographies, from all the way from El Salvador via Paris and Geneva to Ghana and South Africa, and from international organizations to missions, from NGOs and communities to researchers, really a diverse community today. These congratulations for all the winners were really not protocolary. At least I felt them as a real recognition for the efforts that all the winners have actually made. And as Matt mentioned previously, some efforts which often remain under-recognized or not realized by the others, to what extent the efforts are invested by the communication teams. There were a couple of notes in that regard. One was that the teams particularly need specific skills for these digital engagement efforts, and this is also not always recognized and understood within the institutions, but also beyond, and communication to outer world and to those that should receive the message is not always easy, that we should believe in what we do, and in terms of conveying different opinions, sometimes irrational text, different political sides, so it's not easy, and that gives sort of a more thumbs up for both the engagement, the winners, and the awards like this. Back to you, Teresa.
Thank you very much, Vlada, and it's great to hear that the atmosphere in the chat has been very festive as well. Now, feel free, our dear audience, to use this time for any further questions. Should it be on our methodology? Should it be on our next steps? Just put them in the chat or raise a hand, and we will make sure to give you the floor. In the meantime, though, I would like to steal a bit of the time to also share with you a bit more what the GIP and Diplo has done concretely speaking in response to the pandemic, online meetings, and outreach activities. And with the support of the Swiss authorities, we have actually launched one project having two components, if you wish. Both have a kind of acronym or a name. One we refer to as the ConfTech Lab, which, by the way, is the space where we are right now together with Marco. And the other track is called Help Desk. And I would like to first turn to Katarina Andělkovič, who you've heard from already, to tell us very, very briefly what is the spirit of ConfTech Lab and why we are doing it. Katarina?
Hi again, everyone. Thank you, Teresa. Well, the ConfTech is one of our recent projects that was launched following the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak to provide practical assistance to stakeholders in international Geneva and across the globe in performing their core functions even in times of crisis. And ConfTech has managed to develop valuable tools and guidelines and increase stakeholders' capacities to shift from the offline to an online working and conferencing environment. And as you can see on your screen, this is our webpage. ConfTech aims to fulfill its mission through 5 activity areas about which you can find out more on our dedicated webpage. And these are, as you can see, training, which is reflected in our 4-week online meeting and conferences course, ConfTech labs in Geneva and Belgrade that are working on developing innovative ways of hosting and moderating online and hybrid events, as Teresa has just mentioned. Our ConfTech help desk that supports event hosts and moderators across the globe, the analysis of various platforms and tools, and other research activities. I would just like to mention an important part of our work at ConfTech, which our colleagues and partners are particularly interested in, and this is our comparative analysis of available conferencing platforms and tools. And when we're organizing an event, we're all asking the same question: how many people will connect to my event? Will I use any multimedia? How much am I willing to pay for a platform? And as you can see, we have looked into various platforms, both the mainstream ones and the emerging platforms, and we have listed all their basic features to help users actually choose the best option for them. I won't take much of your time. Thank you very much for joining us today, and back to you, Teresa.
Well, thank you very much, Katarina. So certainly quite rich resources available on that webpage, and I do encourage you to go and explore. I mentioned another track of the project that Diplo and the GIP have been working on, and that's the kind of help desk part of it. Arvin, can I go to you? Arvin Kambere from our help desk team. What have been trying to do? Who were we helping or are helping, and why and how? Just very quickly, please.
Thank you, Teresa. First of all, congratulations to all the winners, well deserved, and great to see you all again. The last Geneva Engage Award, 5th last year, this was a prior to the COVID, and we dubbed it 2020 year of online participation. This is not, we didn't have a pandemic on mind, or we didn't have anything such dramatically, but there we kind of envisaged that this kind of meetings and a way how to communicate will become major. I just wanted to on our work on a help desk. Why it's there? It's organized for our missions in Geneva, internationalization, and others who would like to have help in organizing and managing online events. Why is this important? And this is just something which is goes in line with what Mr. Ntoko just said a couple of minutes ago. Basically, when we started doing this in March last year, we realized that even the technology was not still there. Technology was not such a big problem. Rather, the capacity within the organizations to handle online meetings or kind of move to the online platforms. So it was not people were not repellent of platforms or anything like that. They basically didn't have enough personnel or enough knowledge in that area to kind of organize the work in line with what they did so far. In that sense, we set the help desk for a contact in which organizations, missions, and other can ask for specific help from us, but also can ask the ways on how to build the capacity within the organization, within their respective, roles or missions and organizations to cope with the future. Because even when the pandemic is over, we see that a lot of this online work will stay. And most likely, a lot of meetings will also continue to be online. So one of the big part of our effort is actual capacity building for organizations. I will stop here, Teresa.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Arvin, for that and for stressing that the skills are sometimes more important, or usually or always more important than the technology behind. I would like to invite Marco back, and while he's making his way with a safe distance, of course, I would also like to invite you to another event that we are planning very soon. While today we have been focused more on the house and the conduct of diplomacy, on the 2nd of March, we will organize an event dedicated to digital foreign policy strategies of countries. As you know, Switzerland recently presented its own strategy, and we are trying to look into how other countries are dealing with this challenge. You will find more information on Diplo's website, or please sign up to our newsletters. Now it's back over to Marco, our master of the ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa, and thank you, Arvin, Katarina. We're now at the end of our event. I would like to thank once more our winner organizations, the Canton and State of Geneva, as well as all of you for being with us during this year's award ceremony. Do not hesitate to reach out to us, geneva@diplomacy.edu, our data team, either for the report on about the Geneva Engage Awards or for anything related to ConfTech and Help Desk. Thank you very much, and I wish you all a very good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.